Hello and welcome to my next video in the series of how to spot the signs. Thank you so much for finding my channel. Please consider subscribing and or sharing this video with your friends and family. There are many videos here on my channel that I have done, and it's good to be back. I'm back now, so it's all good there. Thank you to everyone who has booked me or is going to book me for an astrological chart reading. Very, very cool. So today we are looking at the cats. Today we are looking at the beast. We're looking at the regal lions. Yes, the Leos. This is a very straightforward video, really, to be really honest. I mean, if you know anything about astrology, then you'll know something of a Leo. So I'm not going to go over all of the standard presentation stuff that's like a Leo 101. But that being said, Leos are very, very easy to pick in the world, in a family, in whatever social setting they're in. Leos are also very, very, very easy to spot. So for those of you that know, there are thousands of combinations of zodiac signs and angles that different houses are in. I will be doing videos talking about all of the houses and what they mean in conjunction with signs. So that will be something that I'll probably do after I finish this series of how to spot the signs. And I'll be going over all of the aspects of how to look at a chart so you guys can read them too. So I'm kind of giving you guys educational videos rather than me just sharing some of my knowledge with you on how to identify the soul blueprint, I guess you could say, which is the astrological components which make a human psychology. So I mean, Leos, obviously. I know you've been waiting for this video. My beautiful Leos. First of all, I really get along well with the Leos, the lions. I am very much sitting in, most of my chart is ruled in the Sagittarian, which is the old man. As I've recently just moved to WA, Western Australia, in Perth. I am looking for more of a relaxed lifestyle as I get older. I'm going to be turning 40 this year. And so becoming a merman beach daddy is my vibe now. So I will be doing a video talking about that and explaining what the fuck does that mean maybe in my next upload if I feel like it. But I'll be sharing with you where the world's going, where my thoughts are with where the world's going, and understanding the time that we have left here and what I'm planning on doing with it as it all starts to, turn to shit, which it really, really has. If you haven't noticed, the state of the world is fucking wild. But that being said, I don't like to necessarily see my videos as entertainment, which is why my videos don't get massive views, because most people are NPCs these days. They are very shallow. They're not looking for truth. They're just looking for entertainment, and they're looking for something that will distract them. And so that's why you may have noticed a lot of the quality of my content on my channel is very unique, and it's very raw, and it's very real. And how far does that really get you when you're not playing games, playing characters, which is pretty much what society does, But I will be doing that in an upload that I will be putting forth when I unpack George Orwell's book, 1984. So I will be looking at the Oceania book there on that. So that's for another chat. But for now, let's get on with Leo. How to spot them. First of all, their presentation and the packaging of a Leo generally is physiologically, they usually are quite blessed, and they know that. I'm going to go over some of the good stuff and some of the terrible stuff that goes awry with this sign. So I want to keep it quite balanced. When Leos walk, they tend to glide in when they walk. They have these like steps, like they walk up stiff and straight in the spine, and they walk in shoulders back, elbows back, like they fucking own the place. Now, if you've got a lot of Leo in your chart, if you have a lot of planets within your fifth house, then you have a lot of very strong Leo energy. And I love this. You know, there's nothing wrong with this. You never shame a fire sign for being passionate, because there is, to me, as a fire sign, there is nothing more pathetic than someone that is an observer of life rather than someone that actually really has a fucking go. All right. And so Leos really have a fucking go. And I love that about them. All right. So they are about presentation in you and in themselves. Their packaging is always immaculate. And even if you found a bum, like, or a homeless person on the side of the road, it doesn't matter what station Leo is in their life or where they are in the world, they have an air of confidence and leadership about them. You know, it just doesn't matter where they are. And they don't stay down long, which I love about them. They're very, very resilient. Leos are usually a sucker for youthful looks within themselves or others. Now, I want to explain to you that if you come across a Leo that is shy and like more of an introverted Leo, then we need to look at where their rising and moon and all the other, you know, is there Mercury, where's that place, where's their Pluto place, all of those types of things. But Leos need light and energy from others as they illuminate, as they go through their life. So if you come across a shy lion, usually it is an act and it's just them playing it down and being very casual. They like to yawn a lot, like a cat. Leos are always tired and lethargic and sleepy, and they move slower usually. If they've got rising in their Gemini, they'll move faster. If they've got a rising in Sagittarius, they'll be quicker on their feet. But generally, they aren't going to waste time and energy defending their territory if it's not a challenge to them, okay? So like a lion, they are very territorial. Don't fuck around with the Leo's kid. Don't fuck around with the Leo's man. What is theirs, and fair is fair. And I think that there is a fairness to a balanced Leo. When a Leo is unbalanced, they are so condescending and antagonizing and patronizing and are absolutely hell to deal with, okay? But if it is a well-balanced, well-rounded Leo, then you're going to be easily able to spot them, because Leo is about the external, the packaging. Say like the importance of like when packaging became a thing, like in marketing, Leos are very good at styling something, packaging something, the way that you present it. For fuck's sake, make the effort. You know, I knew of a Leo that was once homeless, and you know, even though he lived kind of like in his car or in his tent or wherever he slept, he would get a branch off a tree and sweep the dirt to make the dirt around his campsite clean on the ground. You know, they have pride, all right? This sign is all about pride, and not in an evil way. They're Sagittarius's pride, because Sagittarius's pride is the evil and beautiful Samael. Lucifer is Sagittarius, the wisest, the most beautiful, the light bringer, the knowledge bringer. But Leo is more of like an archangel of Michael. He's more connected to the lighter side of illumination through virtue and beauty and things like that. Virtue through using light to lift others up, okay, which is what Leos do when they're in their light, all right? So I hope you're getting all this. I know this is a lot, and I've got a lot on, you know, a lot to say about Leos because I know all about them. I have them as friends. I've dated Leos. I've had very fiery sexual encounters and love affairs with Leos, and I have Leos in my family, so I know how these guys operate. But yeah, so that's what I'm saying there. They're more angelic. When they're children, Leo's faces look very cherubic like a cherub, big chubby cheeks. And physiologically, Leos usually have a gap in their teeth. They have very bucky kind of teeth, much like Sagittarius the horse. So you'll see a lot of that. And they look like a cat energy. And some of the, particularly more of the women, they will actually, this is so fucking crazy and interesting, they will actually wear animal print clothing that emulates the totem of the animal of their sign. Okay, so they will wear leopard print fur. You know, think of like Mel B, Melanie, Mel B, Spice Girl, Scary Spice. Think of her. That's a Leo, right? Loud, proud, spice up your life. We're coming. We're going to get you. We're going to take over the world. We're so ambitious. That type of energy, that infectious, fun, child, adolescent energy is the beauty of a Leo. That's why I could marry a Leo. I could live very comfortably and happily with a Leo because they have a ferociousness to them. They have a gentleness to them. They do have a protective side to them. They are usually loyal. Now, just a quick side note, and I know I'm dropping a lot here, but if you meet a Leo and they cheat on you or they're prone to cheating, I will get onto the darker aspects of why they do that, but fundamentally it's because you didn't give them enough attention. These guys need attention, all right? They don't need you to cook meals for them and treat them like you're like they're their baby type of thing, like a Cancer does. They need you to be there and fucking back them because they are going to back you, all right? Quick tip, and I'm going to drop a lot of tips here. If a Leo dumps you, if a Leo abandons the relationship, you weren't good enough. You weren't raising the bar. If a Leo is in a relationship with you and the Leo becomes distant, it's because you weren't bringing the same level of enthusiasm and passion and energy that you showed at the start of the relationship. You lost your spark, you lost your twinkle. If you're in a relationship with a Leo, you better do the work. You better get up and have a fitness routine. You better be moving your ass. If you're sitting on your ass like a lazy Libra or a lazy Cancerian, or a lazy Virgo that's messy and dirty, this won't work. Okay, they are here because they want the fairy tale. Think of like the Disney films. That's what these guys grow up on. A lot of them grow up on an idolized version of a partner that they go for, and they go for partners that are up. Leos are very prone to hypergamy. They do not date down. Leos don't date losers. Okay, you have to bring something to the Leo's life that they themselves cannot bring to themselves. Otherwise, you'll bring nothing to the table other than being pretty. They might keep you on the side and they'll have a whore on the side and a mistress on the side. Okay, so hypergamy is very important. And hypergamy is always going to come up in anything around the 5th house or anything to do with Leo energy in a chart. So if you have a Leo rising, a Leo moon, you are going to be competitive. Okay, you are going to have a side to you that wants more, that wants a better life, that wants the bigger house, that wants the bigger thing. If you had a Leo and a Sagittarius, that's a very powerful planetary thing because you've got the wisdom of the Sagittarius, the old man, the exuberance of energy, which is a teenager, which is Leo, and then you have, maybe, just saying that the lowest aspect of the fire sign is Aries, which is the baby. So any level of fire sign in the chart, and usually because it's so strong, fire in a chart is passion. So depending on where it's placed in the chart in conjunction with Leo, they're goal orientated, they're goal setters. And so they will outgrow people and things very quickly, much like Sagittarius, and they will leave you behind if you don't keep up with them. I do the same thing. If people don't grow, they won't evolve. It feels heavy, it feels dull, and they're not inspiring, and I'm carrying the weight of the projection or the trajection of the relationship, even in a friendship. You wouldn't hear, they do the Scorpio thing. They'll push you away and fuck you off. All right, I'm giving this to you so straight right now. All right, I know it's hard, but they see dating as options. And so they're looking for their best option. That's what they're looking for. Now, a narcissistic Leo is an all too common thing. And I'm just going to touch on this quickly. I have come across many narc Leos that are on the Machiavellian scale, or even Cancers, or even Scorpios that have a rising in their chart that's sitting in the Leo. And the thing that is very damaging and one of the most ugly and most sad things about this sign, and hopefully this is not you. I'm not having a dig at you if you're a Leo. This is an extreme example here. But one of the horriblest things about them is that if they are narcissistic, they are hollow. And a lot of them are all caught up in the external world. A lot of Libras can do this as well if they're a dark-sided Libra. All right, so what they do is, if they haven't developed and they haven't grown, they basically, what they do is they live pretty much stuck through the lens of looking through life superficially. They look only and focus only on the superficial sides of life. All right, so they really choose style over substance. And that is where the Leos become undone, because they end up becoming very vacant, very vapid inside. They will chase money. They will chase the fame. Leo will chase the adoration, that they so desperately need to fill a part of themselves. And we know narcissists can never just have one partner. There's always got to be another lover. There's always got to be another tantalizing thing waiting on the edge, okay, from their current partner. All right, these guys will have the first, second, third, and fourth choice all lined up, okay? And so I'm just saying this, and I've noticed this a lot with a lot of gay Leo men that are on the Machiavellian scale of psychopathy. As a Leo, they really are empty. And quintessentially, it is a void life. And what happens is they hold up a projection of what they think they want to be, magnify that, build a character around that, and then live through the character of that thing. So, for example, like being gay, they wouldn't see it as just a sexuality and a small component of someone's life. No one really gives a shit who you're having sex with. They would have to magnify that and build like a character around it to get attention. Okay, and so it is really sad as they age when a Leo has done that, because the darker side of a Leo in spotting them, and that's why I'm mentioning this and sharing this with you and I'm wording this very nicely, is that they really have this kind of imposter syndrome, where the reality is they truly are not made up of any real substance. So if you were to actually challenge them or actually ask them questions about some of their ideologies or why they behave a certain way, they can't handle it. They shut down, they become defensive, because they can't handle anything that breaks or challenges the bubble that they've put themselves in. Okay, and so when you challenge that, you'll be met with the horror of like, I think it was written in a book actually. I'm not sure who wrote it. It was when I was younger, I found a book. I was walking home and I went into a public library and I found a book on astrology. And I was able to photocopy a couple of the pages because at the time I didn't live in that city and I wasn't able to borrow the book. But I did manage to get a couple of pages of the book. And one of the things that it was talking about against Leo was that the Wizard of Oz was a really perfect analogy for a Leo being like the great and powerful Oz. But when you pull the curtain back, underneath this like great curtain and this great booming voice of magic and power and omniscience and godlike presence that ruled people, it was just this like bald little dude that was just like had no real power at all and was just chasing this projection that wasn't real. And so when we look at polarity in a chart, when I see a Leo placement, and if you book me for a reading, I'll be able to look at you and look at your chart and see this too. But say if you see like a Leo chart with a lot of Capricorn, that's a really cool thing, because what the Capricorn will do, the universe and humans work all in polarity. And so the Capricorn will work really fucking hard to truly win the adulation and win the award and get that glory. Then they have trouble kind of admitting the emotionality of it because it's gone too extreme, right? But the Leo seeks more than anything for the false sense of pride of having the adulation, and they have that kind of arrogance and self-entitlement, so they don't really necessarily even deserve it. Okay, they don't necessarily even deserve what they're even getting, and it will never be enough. There's just this empty hole in a lot of these narcissistic Leos that we all get burned by, where they just keep wanting more and more and more and more, and it's never enough. And ultimately, the fate of that is isolation, and they seek pleasure seeking and distraction rather than real deep connections. And that's why a lot of Leos, like I knew a Leo, for example, that used to because if it's not the projection of them being a model or being adulated, they will build a family and then film their family and then market that into a product of what to the world of what a family should look like, which is really disgusting. Like, it's fucking sick. Like, when you see people filming their kids and shit, like, it's like, that's a kid. That's a kid. They don't know what they're doing. They can't agree to being filmed in your fucking TikTok video. But Leo parents love doing that. The darker side of a Leo parent would have like 2 trans kids, which would just be absolutely fucking ridiculous. The odds of that, of real, that type of thing. That's the really extreme side of Leo, which I'm just bringing up because this is real talk, right? I'm not fucking around here. But yeah, they have that in them. And so when they don't get what they want, a lot of these Leos have a very extreme temper tantrum if things don't go their way. Okay? Like the teenager slamming the door and you don't understand me, and hyper exaggeration, lying by exaggeration. That is a big part of the Leo and the way that they are. Everything is very overly flamboyant. They can disregard everyone else's needs in the room. It's all about them and their needs. So if you're working and you meet a person that is very focused on social status, is very focused on like presentation in their follow account, that type of thing, you've got a dark fucking Leo. They will not be coachable. It's very difficult, particularly if they've got a Taurus or a Capricorn as well in their chart, to try and give them new information. So a lot of them don't grow. And so it really is sad. This is just for the ones that are not really developed in this life spiritually. Okay. And I've been down this road a long time, and I love Leos. They are my favorite sign. I really do adore. I adore the home life of a Leo. I adore the beauty of a Leo, because they have a safety to them. They pull you in and they bring a lot of light and love in them. I've never experienced love in my life like I did from a younger Leo when I was younger. And stupidly, I let that person go. And I often look back and go, they really, really loved me. I just mentally wasn't up for that level of relationship. But when you get older and you miss a Leo, you really miss them. These guys leave a very deep and lasting impression on your life. All right, so they are natural mentors. They aren't. A lot of student-teacher dynamic plays out with the Leos and the Sagittarians, okay? Because they, like, the power of play of that can always have a dark connotation. Because even now, like, say, when people say we're all equal, no, we are not all equal in this world. We're all on different levels of intelligence, emotional intelligence, height of different levels. We're all on different levels. It's all contextual in this world. So a student-teacher relationship is something that a Leo would be attracted to. These people born around August, right? July, around that time, that's like, because the student-teacher relationship isn't necessarily a relationship based in equality, because one is sitting higher than the other, and one has a power of knowledge over the other that the other is seeking to get, to take the advice from the teacher. Okay, so you do learn a lot of really great lessons about life. But if a Leo is not coachable and they are dominating the family, they are very difficult to deal with, and they will enforce what they think is best over you, and it's really hard. And a dark-sided Leo mother really get their claws into their kids and cast them against each other as well if they can. They do play favorites. It's a darker trait to them. So it does work in a superficial charm. Sometimes Leos get confused that other people aren't falling in love with them. Why isn't everyone in love with me? I don't understand it. What went wrong? Well, it's because you're fucking self-obsessed. Yeah, and so if a Leo can get over themselves, then it's a really, really beautiful person. But yet again, we need to look at their entire chart. It's all subject to placements and angles and degrees. That's why you have to book me for a reading. If you have a Scorpio rising that's got a higher level of degree in your chart, well then, and you've got a Leo sun with that Scorpio rising, you're probably going to have a nasty stinger in your tail. Okay, it's all hybrid, right? It's all connected. So, like Sagittarius, Aries and Leos don't really work well together in relationship dynamics, because one of the things that Aries will do if it's because one of the things that I've learned as well, which I'm also sharing, and I know this is a lot I'm putting in here, but you see, polarity works in nature as well. So if you have a very feminine Leo male, then the feminine Leo will attract a masculine female partner. If you have a more masculine alpha Leo, then they will be looking for absolutely a feminine partner. So masculine men attract feminine women, and feminine men attract masculine women. I hope that made sense. All right, so that plays out especially with the Leo. So Leos, you've got to pay attention to the whole package of their chart, because the sun in the zodiac, or the sun in the planetary correlations, is a star. It is shining. It's like a little baby white dwarf, or whatever color dwarf it is. It's a star. Okay, stars do burn out. A lot of Leos come and go. They burn out really quick. A lot of heart operations happen with Leos. A lot of Leos end up becoming heart surgeons or doctors. They make very good doctors, actually. They make very good surgeons. It's just part of their nature. Depending if they've got more of a Cancer side, you'll see a lot of them work in hospitals. So they like to talk more slowly. Do not interrupt a Leo when they're talking. So Leos usually are not going to be bothered with a Gemini trying to fucking interrupt them and hurry them up to finish their chat so they can talk and they can one-up them. Leos have no regard for that. This is a powerful sign that will rip your head off. Don't fuck around with the Leo. You know, this is like Scorpio. Leos have a side to them. Fuck around and find out. The lion will attack you. But generally you have to provoke them. It depends on what you've done to challenge them. But the way, and I can share this with you if you don't already know this, if you want to kill a Leo or hurt a Leo, their Achilles heel is their pride. So it is very, very unsettling and painful and heartbreaking to watch a Leo lose their power and crumble. Okay? So Leos, a lot of Leos I've met in my life, and I even met, and I'll share some stories with you. I know this video might be getting a little bit long, but it's okay. I had a lover who was a Cancer, and there was definitely Leo all in the chart. And he had love within him, but the fear that he had around me was my strength and power. And he was an older Leo or an older Cancer with a lot of Leo in the chart. He couldn't risk letting himself fall further in love with me because he couldn't contain me. And I remember getting a letter from him once that said, you know, your truth, the way that you talk, the way that you unpack things, the way that you see to the core of me, it's like I can't hide anything, and that scares me. And my response to that was always, well, that's what a real relationship actually is that we really see each other as we truly are. And he wasn't mentally capable or didn't want that because he wanted to keep his lies. He wanted to keep his fantasy. He wanted to preserve his ego. And you see, as far as love goes, ego has to take a back step because ego and love, not the same. Leo is of service to self. Virgo goes to service of others. Okay, so those two signs are quite synonymous. That's why they sit side by side of each other. So he couldn't risk being vulnerable because he wouldn't be in control. And he wasn't smarter than me. He wasn't more talented than me. He wasn't younger than me. He didn't have the force and the power that I have in my mind. And that meant that he wouldn't have the upper hand in the relationship because the power play of a Leo dynamic is always power-based. I'm so sorry to tell you, if you're in a relationship with a Leo, there is a power play going on, always. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. They're just traditional in that way. They don't want another alpha if they're the alpha. We both, like a king of the jungle can't have two kings ruling the jungle. And in my defense to him, it was like we could both rule together, but you just couldn't share. So fuck you. And that's how I left it. And then after he kind of rejected me, years later, friend messages, friend requests on Facebook. Hey, how you doing? Hi, how you going? Hey, we should catch up. Hey, how are you? And it's like, dude, you rejected me. Now what you think you're going to come back to me? Like, no way. And so by ignoring him, that is the way to hurt the Leo. And I didn't do it to hurt him deliberately. He rejected me because he couldn't control me, and then went out into the dating pool and realized the options are very, very limited in terms of people that can truly love and give on the level that I can. He couldn't handle that. So he tried to come back, and it's too late. You've already shown me who you are. And that's a sad thing that happens with a lot of older Leos. They think they're going to do better. They think they can get better. And then the problem is when they realize they can't. A lot of Leo women in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and then coming into modern society, they all adopted this kind of boss bitch attitude, which a lot of the Aries women did as well. And the problem is they all divorced their husbands really early. Yeah, they got a house. Yeah, they got a payout. A lot of them were financially set up from the marriage divorce. The problem is they just thought they could do better. And then their husband ends up marrying someone and making their husband happy. The husband's happier than he was with them. And the husband's already moved on in another relationship. And he's already happier and married to someone else and forgets about her. And she can't do better after all. And then she's single and furious that she divorced him and regrets it. So a lot of them, they overplay their hand. And so one of the things that I've learned, which I'll share here as well, is if you can get a Leo that understands I think because it was actually, it's a really beautiful story. It's a great analogy, actually. Another one I'll share with you here is just giving personal examples, is Arnold Schwarzenegger is a Leo. And I remember he had, very hardworking, incredible human, right? He had a sign above a chin-up bar when he was young that said, "You're not special." And he understood that he had to make his own breaks and that he had to understand that you're not special, you're just like everybody else. And if you can get over your own ego and see beyond your short-sightedness and stop being so blinded by your own light, then you can be of service to the world. Then you can do better, because it's not about you. And he would say that in interviews, it's not about me. And so that is a really amazing thing. No one's perfect. We know that he had his own issues and he had like a secret affair with the maid and all of the rest of it, had a kid with her and stuff and kept it a secret. But what I'm saying is that is a beautiful thing for the king of the jungle to see, is their own grandiose, their own dramatic feelings, because everything's so over the top. These guys can be professional hypochondriacs, going to hospital, always needing attention, sulking until they get their attention. They will pull away, a female Leo will pull her attention away to punish you if you don't do what she wants, that type of thing. But don't you dare give them the silent treatment in reverse, because it makes them feel helpless, all right? So I'm just sharing a lot of raw honest here with the Leos. But they are the life of the party. They are the ones that bring the beauty. They're not meant for the shadows. They're big flirts. They like to spend big. A lot of them are attracted to gold and jewelry pieces that are very signature pieces. The hair is usually wavy and kind of relaxed and big and bouncy, kind of like a cat, like a mane. A lot of Leos are hairdressers. A lot of gay Leos are also hairdressers, gay males. A lot of them work in makeup and beauty. And they do look, their eyes are usually turned a little bit out to the side, upright, like a cat. And a lot of them will accentuate that with like eye shadow or eyeliner, which makes it look more cat-like. So it's really, it's really cool. They can be very bossy. They are very dominant. All right. So I think a well-rounded Leo is a delegator as a manager that lets everyone have their turn and have their strength. A not evolved Leo leader is do as I say, not as I do. They'll be complete hypocrites. All right. They like the finer things in life. They don't want cheap fucking knockoffs. They want the status and they want the power that comes with knowledge. That's why I have attracted a lot of Leos. They like beauty. They like compliments. And I also think that having a Venus in your chart that may be in Leo is really a great thing as well. I have done a video talking about Venus in the Leo. very good place to have a Venus. Very generous lovers. Very, very generous lovers. They will look after you. They will cook for you. They will take care of you. They'll come and stay in my house if you need to stay with me. These guys protect and defend. And that's why I'm always attracted to the Leos. And they're attracted to me in turn, because when you're bold and you speak your truth and you're confident, Leos feel secure. They don't really want subs. Okay, unless the Leo is a sub, they generally won't be subservient in their whole life. So you might find a very well-appointed Leo that could be a politician. A lot of them are attracted to politics and government and council and shit like that. But what they'll do is they'll be a dominant person within their job, where they boss other people around and feel very important with their bureaucratic bullshit. And then at home, they'll be a total sub. Like, I mean a fucking total subservient sub that really enjoys being used sexually. They're into extreme sex as well when it comes to Leos that have a lot of placements, like a double up in their chart. The power of the dark feminine is very strong with the female Leos. So they can have multiple men that will be like their sugar daddies, and they will see nothing wrong with that. They want to live a fabulous life. They'll have, lots of partners at one time. They will juggle it very well. They're very strategic. A lot of the darker aspects of the divine feminine in a Leo woman is getting people to do things for them and paying them for it. And you're only just so lucky to have me in your life because I'm so beautiful and fabulous and you cannot do better than me. So telling a Leo that you can do better than them will piss them off. That's where they are. It's all about presentation, and how you approach them is really key. They do have an optimism about them that is like the glass is half full. So don't be boring, don't be dull, don't be a nag. Virgo and Leo don't usually work well together. Virgos are, a lot of them are very pessimistic and over hypercritical. When a Leo is hypercritical, it's because it comes from a place of judgment. And so the kings and the queens, that's what they do. They judge. They sit on the throne, right? That's what they do. So I think that's what it really is. So I've kind of given you a lot here about how to unravel them. A lot of you probably already know this. It's pretty straightforward stuff. If you stop being fun, if you stop being in your inner child with them, if you stopped being able to move and shift directions very quick. They're very agile. They like to move. They like to run. They'll run marathons. They want to live life to the fullest. So you got to keep up, man. They'll be in one part of the world and they're flying over here with their gold watch on their wrist. Then they'll be at the other part of the world. They love beauty in other people. So one of the points that I was making before is if you meet a shy Leo, an internal Leo, it's their power source will come from who they surround themselves with for power. Because Leos understand that in order to get power, you need to be around power. They know that. So if you wanted to level up in your life and live a better lifestyle, you're going to have to say goodbye to all of the people that are losers, that aren't doing that are lazy. Leos hate laziness. So that's what I was saying before. It's like when they level up, they're not just going to date you for a fuck, because they can get that anywhere. They would date you because they see you as a life partner that they can really go on adventures with and really grow and have a financial, secure, codependent relationship, because there is always a codependency with Leos. They get very entangled in their relationships. But yeah, if you're tight with your money, if you're saving coins and coupons, forget it. They're going to be out the door. To one up a Leo is for them to reject you and then for you to come back even more beautiful and more strong. and more rich and more successful. They would hate that. A lot of them dislike aging. They are ageists. So a lot of them will always surround themselves with younger people that remind them of youth and beauty, because they feel like an inner child right up until the time that they pass this physical life. So that's why like people like Madonna, they'll always have younger energy around them, because they don't want to be stagnated with people that are boring or nagging or low energy. This is high fucking energy. Let's go. That type of thing. Okay. I found out the colors, the Hulk Hogan was a Leo, and actually thought that's quite interesting because it's so obvious. But yeah, they walk into the room like, late. I think of like the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, the Real Housewives of Cheshire, that show on Bravo TV. Like, I think there's a there's a woman on that one, on the Real Housewives of Cheshire, and she flew into I think she flew into like Dawn's get together in a helicopter. I mean, because she had to outstage her friends, that type of thing. So it's always a one-up thing. Like, you went on the weekend, I went down to the beach, I went to Disneyland. It's always like that type of thing. They've got to one-up you. It's part of the game. They are mentally quick and smart. I don't come across a lot of dumb Leos. They have an agility to their mind. They're not placid. They don't want to observe. They want to get in there and do it. Okay. So I see that as well. Energetically, I mean, yeah, they're very active, and I love that. It's a beautiful thing. They're here to live. They're here to taste the fruit. They don't want to dwell on negative shit as well. So they are like very proactive and positive. They'd rather focus their time and energy on things that elevate them. All right. So they'll elevate you if you elevate them. They're very tit for tat in relationships. All right. So yes, they do measure things. They do see how much energy you give and what they get in return. And if it isn't equal, then they're going to be out the door. It is hard to watch a very proud Leo age when they lose a lot of their autonomy. I've seen that within my own family. And it's hard because they want to dance. They want to keep moving. A lot of them will get married and will remarry very quickly. I don't come across a lot of Leos that are single when they get old. This is a sign that is designed for partnership, and something probably went wrong in their life. Same with the Cancers. If you meet a Cancer Leo, particularly a Cancer Leo male or a Leo male that's in their 50s, 60s and 70s, and their marriage fell apart, there would have been a lot of very fiery, kind of passionate firework affairs in their life, but they generally would be like, something went wrong. It's either they ended up because they're narcissistic, or because they came out late in their life, or they hurt someone. There'll be a story there, because this sign believes in love, and they remarry quickly. Leos, if you abandon them or if you fucked with them, they will forget you quickly, and they will just get on with it, and they'll go find another partner. And as far as they're concerned, you're way behind in the dirt, and they're moving forward with their fabulous life. Okay, so they have no hesitation in like pulling the cord out of the socket, right? If you're not meeting their standards. So it's a bit exhausting, to be honest, but if you can meet a very relaxed Leo, that's really kind of down to earth and has mellowed as they get older, and they don't place these really high conditions on people, then you're going to get a very lovely, easy to deal with pussycat, And what do pussycats do when you stroke them and you pat them? they go, prrr. They fucking purr. They purr. All right. So yes, a lot of them will have a lot of fiery, passionate affairs. But yeah, usually if a Leo is involved with other fire signs, it's like the fire burned out just as quickly as it started. All right, so that type of thing. Because when a fire has nothing left to consume, it just burns itself out. That's why Leos ultimately work best with other fire signs, or yeah, not so much earth and not so much air, to be honest. It'll be fiery, it'll be fun, but will it have longevity? Don't know. Think of like Marie Antoinette. Think of that type of thing. You know, think of Marie Antoinette, right? She, you know, that disconnected sense of self, like let them eat cake, that type of thing. You know, that can be the dark side of a Leo, completely disassociated from reality. I've actually had conversations with Leos in my life and shared things about life with them, and I've been shocked, even when I meet older Leo men and women that are in their 40s and 50s that haven't even, like, I'm talking about basic 101 stuff about life and reality, and they just look at you like, what? Like, shocked. Generally, in terms of eye color, you do come across a lot of blue-eyed Leos. That's quite true. A lot of them quite flushed. They get flushed and they blush very easily. A lot of dark or reddish blonde hair, very wavy. A lot of gingers are Leos as well, I have noticed. Same as Aquarians. By the way, Aquarius and Leo are the opposites. So if you ever see in a chart an Aquarius and a Leo in opposite, you'll see that there'll be some very interesting personality crossover going on there, all right? But they have a very strange effect on people. For the Leo women, they will do better playing with like team sports and things like that, like basketball, netball, things that get them involved with other people. They usually set themselves up as like wing defense or goal shooter, and a lot of them have more like brown eye colors, darker brown eyes. That's what I see for Leos in general. But yeah, playing with wigs, playing with dress ups, playing with like, lots of exploration. They're all about creativity and expressing themselves. A lot of them are artists and making art and wanting to be around artists that look at the world in a very different way. You know, they are romantic. So shower them with gifts and affection and roses and compliments, and tell them that they look good in that jumper. Leave the fucking rose petals on the bed. Bring the romance, and the Leo will stay with you and love you and adore you. And that's how you keep them. All right. This is a happy sign. It's a happy sign. They want to be happy. They want love. Seldomly I'd come across a very bitter Leo. Some of them can be quite childish, like playing childish games and shit like that. But with me, you know, if you can hear me talk, I mean, I don't play games. Like, I don't do games. Like Scrabble, yeah. Mind games, it's like, yeah, with me, with me, it'd be like playing the oldest game. Like, it's not going to work. Like, I'm like great at chess. I'm very good like that. So mind games are super boring to me. But yeah, bring the bling. You know, for the women, it's like they love like anything shiny that sparkles, rhinestones and diamonds are a girl's best friend, you know, that type of thing. They're very Shakespearean, you know, they've got that money, you know, spending all the money, honey, that type of thing. They love spending money and showing you off, and also them showing you to their world as well. But other than that, they're looking for inspiration, and that's how you see them. They inspire me. I'm very inspired by Leos. I lived with a house of people that were all Leos, actually, and when they fight, it was horrendous. But when they made up and they were all getting along, it was a really beautiful harmony that I saw. And they love their beds. They love to sleep in. You know, they put the effort in. And so that's why if you're a Leo and you're listening and you'd like me to look at your chart, or you've got any other placements in your houses or chart with Leo, book me for an astrological chart reading and I can have a look at it for you. But yeah, lots and lots of love. I think I've really gone above and fucking beyond. And of course I had to for the lions. Yeah, love and blessings to you, my beautiful lion friends. Hello out there, and thank you for waiting so long for this video. I will see you in the next upload. I'm thinking of looking at Alana Del Rey's chart, or maybe I'm going to explain to you why I'm becoming a merman beach daddy. Okay, bye, 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 bye.